Hey up everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about the best fighters who are unranked in every single weight division. And just to clarify, ranked fighters are fighters within the top 15, not the top 10. I see a few people get that confused sometimes, so it is people outside of the top 15. We're starting off with the flyweight division, and I've gone for Joshua Van. This guy is only 22 years old. He's actually a prospect, 10-1 record, 3-0 in the UFC. Okay, so quick update. We're off to a great start here as Joshua Van actually lost over the weekend, and I recorded this video before the weekend. So yeah, he's no longer 10-1. He's no longer 3-0 in the UFC. He's currently 10-2, and he's 3-1 in the UFC. Just wanted to let you guys know that. And he's just very good overall. There's a lot of good flyweights in general, but Joshua Van sticks out to me a fair bit. I feel like he will be ranked very soon. I can't remember who he's meant to be fighting next, but he's meant to be a banger if it got cancelled. I can't exactly remember. But I am looking very forward to seeing Joshua Van fight a lot more. Very exciting to watch. Very good grappler. Very good striking. Puts up good combinations and has good power. So I've got Joshua Van as a best unranked fighter. Moving on up to the bantamweight division, I've gone with Saeed Nurmagomedov. I was actually tempted to go on the hype train with Peyton Talbot because I am very much on that hype train. But I went with Saeed Nurmagomedov. He is 18-3, 7-2 in the UFC. He's beat the likes of Cody Stanman, Douglas Silva, Andrade, however you say his name. And he also lost to Jonathan Martinez, but most of the media gave it to Saeed Nurmagomedov. I think I might have scored. It was a while back, but I think I also scored it for Saeed Nurmagomedov. It was quite a close fight. It was a very fun fight. But yeah, I'll go with Saeed Nurmagomedov. Very, very well-rounded, a good fighter. I feel like he will enter those rankings at some point. Maybe he just needs to put a few more things together. But yeah, I'll go with Saeed Nurmagomedov. After this, we have the featherweight division, and I've gone with Joanderson Brito. I was tempted to actually go with Nathaniel Wood, but I went with Brito. I remember seeing his last fight against Jack Short, and he was looking really, really good. The fight got stopped because of quite a nasty cut on the leg, from what I believe, to Jack Short. But even so, Brito is beating him quite comfortably from what I remember. He's also beat the likes of Diego Lopez on the Dana White Contender Series, which has aged really well for him. He has a record of 17-3 and is 6-1 in the UFC. We then have the lightweight division, and I've gone with Grant Dawson. Now, I don't fully rate Grant Dawson. He did lose to Bobby Green, or should I say King Green, now that he's changed his name. But he's still only 30. That's his only loss in the UFC. He's I can't remember what his record is, but I think he's like 9 wins, 1 loss in the UFC, but I don't know his actual record. You know, like I said, only 30. A grappler. I don't rate him that highly. I think he'll get exposed a lot against people in the top rankings, but outside the rankings, I didn't know who else to go with. But an honourable mention is someone who I think I haven't seen enough of is Manuel Torres. He's a Mexican. I think he's 3-0 in the UFC. I think he's got 15 wins overall. He's got 7 wins by knockout, 7 wins by submission, and 1 win by decision. And he's only 29 and looks like he could be the real deal. I just haven't seen enough of him to say he's the best unranked fighter. But he's definitely someone you want to look out for, as he does look very promising and very dangerous. But Grant Dawson beat the likes of Demir, can't say his last name, sorry. And he's also beat Jared Gordon, just some decent wins. In the welterweight division, I didn't really know who to go with, to be honest. Bit of a stinky one outside the top 15 ranking. So I just went with Renat whatever, I can't say his last fucking name, but I've gone with him. He's 22-1. He's four wins, no losses, and I think 1 draw in the UFC. He beat Kevin Lee rather comfortably. It was when Kevin Lee made a comeback to the UFC. He rejoined the UFC and got submitted within within a minute. And he's also beat Nicholas Dalby when Nicholas Dalby built up like a 4-fight winning streak, and he was able to stop that winning streak from continuing. And he's also beat Brian Battle, which is another decent name to have. So some decent wins inside the UFC, but I didn't know who else to go with in the welterweight division. We then move on to the middleweight division, and you might be questioning why I'm wearing a different t-shirt, and that's because I recorded this video a few days ago, and as I'm editing it, I realised I actually put someone in the top 15 rankings in this one. I picked Anthony Hernandez for the middleweight division. He is ranked 14th at the moment. And on the website I was using, it was saying he wasn't ranked. So, rookie mistake by me. That's my own fault. But now I've had to change it. And I've actually gone with Michel Pereira as the best unranked fighter in the middleweight division. This guy hasn't lost for 4 years. The last loss came in 2020 against Diego Sanchez. That's how long ago it was. I was a bit iffy on whether to give it to Michel Pereira because he has floated between the welterweight and middleweight division. But I've still gone with him for the middleweight division. Looked very impressive in his last outing when he got like a submission victory in like, what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. And I do think he can be quite a bit of a problem in the middleweight division. I think he's learned quite a bit since making his UFC debut where he was making stupid decisions. He doesn't really do that as much anymore. And I think he's quite well-rounded and quite established now. So that's why he's my best unranked fighter. But a couple of honourable mentions go to Joe Pyfer. You know, still quite young. Looked great against Marc-Andre Barriault in his last outing. Yes, he lost to Jack Manson, but I don't think that's a big knock against him. Again, he's still quite new into the MMA game. That was a big step up in competition. So I don't really hold it against him too much. I feel like, you know, once his fight IQ evolves and he just gets simply better and more experience, he might be able to win against Jack Manson in a rematch in the future. I'd like to see that run back sometime in the future if Joe Pyfer can actually improve a lot more. And then my other honourable mention is Bo Nickel. We've only seen him in the octagon, 3 or 4 times. I've not been wowed with anything I've seen from him so far. And that's why he's not number 1 for me. I get he's a prospect. He talks a big game. A lot of people think he might be the next big thing. But so far, I just haven't seen anything what's really made me think, oh yeah, he's really, really good. You know, his last outing was against Cody Brundage, for fuck's sake. And, you know, so I haven't gone with Bo Nickel. I've gone with Michel Pereira for the best unranked fighter in the middleweight division. After this, we have the light heavyweight division, and I've gone with Vito Petrino. Guys, I won't lie. The only reason I went with this guy is because the fucking outside the top 50, even the top 15 has a lot of stinkers. But outside of it, mate, trust me, have a look yourself. It's so stinky. It's unbelievable. It's disgusting. It smells worse than Derek Lewis's fucking fight shorts after he's chucked him off, after he's been sweating his bollocks off in him. So that's how stinky it is. It's awful. So I had to go with Vito Petrino, or Vito Petrino. I can't remember how you say his first name. 11-1, 4-1 in the UFC, but did lose to Anthony Smith, I believe, in the first round it was. That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT! He was meant to be the next prospect from the light heavyweight division. He got shut down by Anthony Smith when he really shouldn't have. I think Smith took it on short notice as well. I can't really remember. But yeah, I've gone with Petrino for the best unranked fighter, but he's still not that great in my opinion. And then finally for the heavyweight division, a bit like the light heavyweight division, a bit stinky, but I've just gone with prospect Michael Parkin, the only undefeated fighter on this entire list. He's 9-0 and 3-0 in the UFC. Looks very well-rounded, looks very fast. Beat Muhammad Usman, who's Kamaru Usman's brother, who was looking okay in the UFC as well. So I've gone with Michael Parkin. Looks quite solid. English lad, quite young. I think he's in his late 20s. Decent boxing. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on in the heavyweight division. You know, heavyweight division is one of those divisions. It's like the heavyweight division. It's very just hit and miss. Like, you know, it's so hit and miss. It's unbelievable. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And I'm very interested, especially because I'm English, to see how he gets on in that heavyweight division. But those are the fighters who I believe are the best unranked fighters in the UFC. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. Thank you for watching the video. Now go away.